Hi, welcome back. I am Tavish Cardiff, and it is Conflict Week at our Raw Material. I am one of the co-founders of the practice, showing up every week with a little bit of guidance on how to navigate each week's pillar. But the first thing to remember in the Our Raw Material practice is that this arena belongs to you. These are your pillars, and your relationship with them is more important than anything I could tell you about them. I say that in Conflict Week because we are working from a little more meditative space, and I know that saying something like that can make certain people feel uncomfortable because the fact is we don't exactly know what to do with these pillars until we start interacting with them. That creates conflict just all by itself. So, as with every week this session, get yourself into a space where you can breathe comfortably. This is not a meditation, but I do want you relaxed enough to feel the breath kind of move through your body, where it goes. Start to figure out where you're going to direct it. And we're going to start by calling up whatever comes to mind first about the things that are bothering you. Let's just work with a couple. Little handful, no more than that. And notice as you think of each one of those things and you're breathing, where the breath sticks in your body. And I think that is the real challenge for conflict, which is one of the middle physical pillar, to identify where in our body we store the things that bother us in our mind that are either so insignificant to our mind that we don't think we need to worry about them, or we haven't figured out a way to address them or maybe even acknowledge them to ourselves. So sometimes we're just looking for something that we didn't even know was there. And by developing a regular habit of breathing, just kind of through the whole, like you're strip mining the body with breath, start at the top and move all the way down. I don't think it really works the other way, because if you try to start at your feet, it's hard to get a breath all the way down there to start. So starting in a small space, start around your eyes and then your ears, your jaw, your neck, shoulders, continue to move down. And as you take those breaths and exhale, where's the tightness? And you'll start to notice where there are triggers within your body. You can do the same thing by tracing, just the physicalness of your body. Like if you go through your arm or your leg, you will find trigger points that you didn't know were there, just tender spots where we've stored the energetic debris of the things that bother us that go, they're undealt with for one reason or another. Just take a deep breath, exhale, let those ideas rattle around a little bit. They might find a way to settle in easily, and they might feel uncomfortable. It might not feel good to be chasing around conflict in our body, to be chasing around spots that we're storing things that we don't want to look at. But this is really more of an objective look. We're not looking to get our emotions stirred up. We're in the physical space. We're just seeing where we put it. And when we see where we put it, we can use our breath to move it, clear it, change it. And then our mind has the space to let it become something different. As we get into next week's pillar, which is intention, we will deal a little more with the emotional aspect of the things that we want and not getting them. But this is more what is the result of not making value-based choices. So the previous week, values and ideals, conflict sort of brings together the space between honoring what we value and either not using that list to make our choices or holding ideals as values. Either way, we are setting ourselves up for some failure. And when we do that, we tend to stuff it in the body. Conflict can be within us, like we're talking about here, but it can also be with us and another person, with us in society. There are conflicts, pick a direction. There's a conflict in the world right now. As we settle into our own ability to resolve pain and discomfort that comes from unhandled emotion, we get ourselves anchored, we get ourselves to a safe space where we can do this for us and maybe even be able to do it a little bit for the people next to us, at least as much as they will let us. Regardless of what we want to do, we can't always get in there and affect, even ourselves, let alone try to make big adjustments for someone else, even though a lot of times it's easier to see them for someone else, where someone else could make an adjustment, than it is to see it within ourselves. And as clearly as we see it for others, know that they see it for us. And if we could exchange those ideas in a way that felt supportive rather than creating defense, we would be a lot happier overall. But that's getting way ahead of what we tend to do as human beings. Right now, we get stuck in a lot of conflict. And so identifying where that conflict is one of the best ways to start clearing it. The challenge for this week would be to notice for yourself whether most of your conflicts happen internally, or you and one other person, or like a larger you against something even bigger. And just identify what area of your life you tend to struggle the most with conflict. In that awareness, you can take your relationship with this pillar anywhere you want. Continue to breathe, especially when you come up against something that's challenging or hard or, painful. Breathing through that and just being curious about what the reason is behind that tension is always going to lead you to an answer that starts to untangle how it got there. These things don't happen in one instance. It's things piling up over time. It's feelings that seem like not a big deal that continue to just sit together until they become one bigger deal. Conflict week, even though it's one of our most tense, it probably is the most tense of the weeks, is a real opportunity to create new areas for imagination and breath. And when we do that, we open ourselves up to communicate better with everyone around us. And that is the ultimate goal in resolving conflict, is making the communication better, whether it's between our mind and body or ourselves and someone else. Enjoy this week. I'll be back next week to talk about intention. And until then, thank you so much for being a part of this practice and enjoying the raw material arena.